Unfiltered.
I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you courtesy of SiriusXM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. The number to call up, as always, is 888-MAD-DOG-6. That's 888-MAD-DOG-6, 888-623-3646. And plus, you can always leave in your voicemail messages. I'll get to them eventually. SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. That's SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. I hope y'all all had a wonderful weekend. I, myself, had a very, very nice weekend. I really, really did. I mean, the weather was beautiful. I was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, courtesy of Nancy Lieberman and her foundation. That award, to my, in all humility and sincerity, was presented to me surprisingly by the owner for the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. I cannot thank him enough for taking time out of his busy schedule and taking the time to bestow me with such a prestigious honor. I am really, really grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very, very much, Jerry Jones. But that doesn't mean I can't talk about the Cowboys now. And that's not the deal we made. Did you see what happened to the Dallas Cowboys in Chi-Town yesterday afternoon? Because I got to admit, I felt sorry for my my Libra brother. I felt sorry. I reckon he's a bit miserable right now as we think about how the Dallas Cowboys got trampled. There's a lot of things to get into. We got to get into the Eagles and their improbable victory against the Los Angeles Rams. We got to get into the Houston Texans and what the hell is going on in H-Town. They're 0-3. How Daniel Jones, former quarterback for the New York Giants, en route to having his career over because he appeared to be so sorry, is now a star, elevating before our very eyes in Indianapolis. Because the Indianapolis Colts are undefeated at 3-0 on the season. The Green Bay Packers supposedly was going to walk around. They're going to walk through the NFL schedule. Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary and the rest of the crew and their menacing defense and their ability to get at a quarterback. Excuse me, there was nobody in the NFL that could compare to that. Nobody. And they were going to knock off the Eagles and they were going to waltz to the Super Bowl because they were the best team in football, obviously, with this defense. Everybody forgot about Jordan Love in key moments. Everybody forgot about how he could act when the pressure mounted. Everybody forgot that the Cleveland Browns may very well have a big-time bona fide defense that none of us paid enough attention to. So there's a whole bunch of stories to get into. Hell, I might even bring up Cardi B and her new album that's going platinum in a day. Okay? And some of her other announcements like she's getting ready to have Stephon Diggs, baby, but we ain't going to get into all of that. Okay, I'm just stating facts. I ain't being judgmental in any way. I'm just pointing out that there's so much stuff to get into. And by the way, the part of the biggest news is that I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm right here in the house. Okay? I'm right here because tonight, Monday night, when the Baltimore Ravens take on the Detroit Lions, it is your boy's debut on Monday Night Countdown for ESPN. You see, I grew up with Howard Cosell as my idol. It's one of my idols. You understand? I mean, that's when I learned about brokerage firms and stocks and all of this other stuff. When Howard Cosell used to say, halftime highlights brought to you by Merrill Lynch, a breed apart. I was a kid. I didn't even know what the hell that meant, okay? But I knew it because of Howard Cosell, because that's how distinctive his voice was. That's how he stood out above the crowd as a broadcaster, okay? Obviously never having played football or anything like that. And I always fantasized about being a part of the Monday Night Football coverage, and ESPN has blessed me with the honor of being able to do that tonight and a couple of other nights at the very least this season. It won't be every Monday night, but I'll be on tonight. There's a lot to get into, but we got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys because, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, for all you Dallas Cowboy hopefuls out there, the season's over. Your defense is trash. It just has to be said, and we can't mince words. We can't wiggle our way around any of this stuff. The defense is trash. They're horrible. I mean, it was bad enough to see what the New York Giants did to them just last weekend when Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson had a field day with the Dallas Cowboys secondary, and Russell Wilson looked like the second coming of Dan Marino, throwing for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns before losing to the Dallas Cowboys 40-37, courtesy of an ill-advised Hail Mary-style interception that he threw in targeting Neighbors, all right, that was intercepted by Dallas, and Dallas ended up winning because they got the best field goal kicker in football, and this guy, Brandon Aubrey. But that wasn't the case yesterday. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, I can't even get to a point where I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys offense because this defense is so horrible. You know, what can you say? 4 sacks in 3 games? 4 sacks in 3 games. I mean, if ever it was mounting evidence about how much they miss Micah Parsons, it's now. It's now. Because I'm here to tell you something right now. They can't stop a cold. They can't stop the sniffles. It's that bad with the Dallas Cowboys defense. 4 sacks in 3 games. A secondary led by Trayvon Diggs. He's slipping, he's falling, he can't get up. You understand? Biting the line from DMX song Slipping. I mean, this is what's happening to Trayvon Diggs. Adunze with a touchdown. Burton III with a touchdown. You got a guy in Caleb Williams right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first half. I want y'all to make sure you understand this. This is the first half we're talking about with the Chicago Bears going up against the Dallas Cowboys. And this brother had about 5 throws, a 65-yarder, a 37-yarder, a 31-yarder. 65, 41, 35, 37, and 29 yards. This is Caleb Williams. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, he was sacked 68 times last year. 68 times, 16 more than anybody else in the National Football League. Number 2 on the list was C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans. But Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times. And as Sean Payton has religiously told folks, all sacks ain't the fault of the offensive line. Sometimes it is the quarterback holding on to the football along, not having enough pocket presence, not sensing the level of urgency and getting rid of the ball quick enough. All of those things can be true. Why am I bringing that up? Because yesterday, that was a non-factor. Caleb Williams was sitting back taking pictures, calling his honey, ordering Uber Eats. I mean, he was doing everything he did, everything he wanted to do before throwing the damn football. That's what Caleb Williams was doing because he didn't have to worry about a pass rush from the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. He didn't have to worry about a damn thing. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about right here. When he threw that 65-yard touchdown pass to Luther Burden III, it traveled 62.1 yards in the air. Longest completion in the NFL this season and the longest completion of Caleb Williams' career. And I'm just looking at this right now. This Cowboys defense, 4 sacks in 3 games, ranking 29th in the National Football League. Right now, total defense 30th, scoring defense 28th, pass defense 31st, sacks per game 29th, and third down defense dead last. So they don't stop people on third down. They don't stop people on third down. And by the way, speaking of the Bears, their running game, we all know it needs work. They were held to 87 yards and 29 carries, which is 3 yards per carry, with DeAndre Swift limited to 2.5 yards per rush on his 13 carries. Chicago don't have Jamal Gibbs and David Montgomery in their backfield for Ben Johnson like they did for him in Detroit. That much is true. They didn't need it yesterday. They didn't need it yesterday. And if you're Dak Prescott, and people, Cam Newton was on TV with me earlier this morning along with Dan Orlovsky, and they thought that I had lost my damn mind. But I'm going to say what I said to them. I'm going to say it to y'all audience right now. Let me tell you something that's really, really bothering me, and I'm not backing up from this. I want to know the name of the coach, whether it was Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach, or somebody else. I want to know who's responsible for giving CeeDee Lamb the ball out of the backfield on a running play. Ladies and gentlemen, all things are not created equal. All things are not equal. Okay? CeeDee Lamb ain't built that way. You got to remember, when you're running the football out of the backfield, you're encountering defensive linemen and linebackers before you see anybody else. When you're a wide receiver, most of the time you're dealing with cornerbacks and safeties. It's a bit different when you're coming out of the backfield running the damn football. CeeDee Lamb ain't built like that. I paid him $136 million. $136 million. If I'm Jerry Jones, I paid him as one of the top 3 paid receivers in all of football to catch the damn ball away from the line of scrimmage in the teeth of an opposing team's secondary. I didn't pay for him to be lined up behind the quarterback in the backfield, in the damn I formation, and I'm giving him the ball to run through defenders. He got dragged down, hurt his ankle, wasn't really ready to go for the rest of the game, suffered from a high ankle sprain. There's an MRI that's scheduled for the day. We don't know what his status is going to be next week. He says he's going to be ready. He don't know. What if the MRI shows something different? What if it shows something different? Why would you take him, of all people, and put him in that position? He's not Deebo Samuel. He's not one of those dudes. He's tall and slim, incredibly gifted. You don't put him in a position to run out of the backfield in a running play. Everybody talking about, oh my goodness, you get a player like him, you get the ball in their hands no matter what. That's not true. You get them the ball in places that are ideal for them to excel. Running out of the backfield ain't it. That ain't what CeeDee Lamb signed up for. Huge mistake on the part of the Dallas Cowboys because it neutralized them offensively. And it left Dak Prescott relying, on this cat from Pittsburgh. And that's what you have. And because of that, your offense was relatively neutralized. Dak Prescott was left to do, but so much. Their offense was stripped of its potency. Their defense is trash, and they ended up getting blown out by a team who was 0-2 and was fresh off a previous week of giving up 52 points to the Detroit Lions in a blowout loss. But that's what happened. And because of that, I'm looking at I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm saying, excuse me, they don't have it. They don't have it. You can't expect but so much out of this team when you can't stop a cold. You just can't do it. That's how I'm viewing them right now. That's how I see them. And that's the way it's going to be. And by the way, late in the game, Trayvon Diggs and Kenny Clark, who was acquired in the Micah Parsons trade, by the way, both got hurt on the same defensive series in the third quarter. They committed 4 turnovers, but then forced a single turnover from the Chicago Bears. And 3 fourth-quarter drives all ended in interceptions. This is pretty bad. And by the way, it was going through the hands of cats. It wasn't like it was all Dak Prescott's fault. So we got to remember that moving forward. Make no mistake about it. Cowboys in a world of trouble. It doesn't look good at all. And somebody that likes to troll the Cowboys, because I do consider their fan base the most disgusting, nauseating fan base in American history. That is absolutely true. I'm not changing my mind. You see me say it on TV. Don't think you're going to hear me say otherwise on radio. I can't stand Cowboy fans, but it's all love. It's just me like loving trolling them. Okay, that's all it is. It's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. I'm just having a good time talking about them. But I got to tell you something right now. They are horrible defensively. They really, really are. George Pickens, listen, he's in a contract year. And when he's missing balls and it's going through his hands and Chicago's intercepted because of that, that's not a good look for him. Plain and simple. Javonte Williams is running the football effectively. That's one good spot for them. And I think offensively, Dallas, with all its bodies healthy, can make some noise offensively. But there's not much you can do for this defense because this defense is horrible. And I think that the Micah Parsons trade ultimately is going to come back to haunt Jerry Jones. He doesn't believe so in the long haul, but I do. And quite frankly, I've been right and he hasn't. Because it's been 29 years since the Dallas Cowboys have been in the championship game. That means they haven't been in a championship game, which means they haven't been in a Super Bowl, which means they haven't won a Super Bowl. And we all know they ain't going to win it this year. So since January 28th of 1996, the Dallas Cowboys are on the outside looking in at a Super Bowl. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Lots to get into. Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. What do you say? Big boy Jordan Davis, 6'6", 336 pounds, blocks the field goal and then scoops it up and runs down and returns it to a touchdown. I mean, Big Boy still had to win to keep on running if he needed to. And he ran like 18.59 miles per hour. Nobody's expect that kind of speed on a boy that big. But that brother did his thing. Okay? Jalen Carter blocked the field goal before that. 2 blocked field goals ultimately cost the Rams the victory. Here's the thing about the Los Angeles Rams. Props in one sense because they came into Philadelphia ready to go. Still sniffing the loss of losing to the Eagles in the divisional playoff game last year, and that snowball, essentially. They came out there roaring. Even though Matthew Stafford threw an interception earlier, ultimately they scored 5 times in the first half. Beautiful throw from Stafford to Devontae Adams for that score. Major props to him for that. Puka Nacua balled out all day yesterday. We get that part too, okay? And the Rams and Sean McVay going up against Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Looked like he was schooling the Eagles defense, no doubt. But then something happened. And it's a person that we have to talk about, and his name is Jalen Hurts. I mean, did nothing in the first half. They ultimately are down 26-7 and look like they're on the verge of getting blown out the building. And what the hell happens? Jalen Hurts just turned it up. And by the way, mainly through A.J. Brown. Because this dude, this stud that is A.J. Brown for the Philadelphia Eagles, let me tell you something right now. I had no problem with some of the noise that he made post-game. Let me be very, very clear about that. When he was talking about how they need to get him the ball. They need to let him loose. They need to let the cats hunt. Because there's a lot of talent on the crew, and they're being held back. Well, they didn't do that in the second half, and Jalen Hurts, 2 3rd-and-10 conversions. Threw a touchdown to him, threw a touchdown to Devontae Smith, threw for 209 yards in the second half. Completed 71% of his passes in the second half. Rams seemed ill-equipped to do anything about it. And by the way, props to Nick Sirianni and the Eagles coaching staff, because Lane Johnson goes down with a neck injury. This cat, Matt Pryor, comes in there right tackle, can't block me, okay? Letting them get at Jalen Hurts. And what do? They benched him. They bring in Fred Johnson. After that, Jalen Hurts is secured the right tackle spot, and he starts flinging that football. And the Rams and Sean McVay, who we love, who's a brilliant coach, is known for getting cautious from time to time as games tighten. Settling for field goals on far too many occasions. And as a result, leaving points on the board. And in yesterday's case, not once but twice, and 3 times over the last 2 weeks, he saw a field goal get blocked. So we're looking at the Rams as the ideal number 1 threat to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. Obviously, that argument changes a little bit now. Some people might say that still. Some people might say Green Bay. But then Green Bay loses to Joe Flacco and a Cleveland Browns offense that could only register 13 points. And if Jordan Love hadn't thrown the damn interception, they still would have won the game, but they still only had 10 points. So now, who could you look at as the number 1 threat to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC? You want me to tell you who it is? It may very well be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, this cat Ibuka out of Ohio State, who's a stud. Tampa Bay got some weapons, y'all. Tampa Bay got some weapons. There's a whole bunch of stuff to get into right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I'll get into a whole boatload of NFL action going on. Props to Asia Wilson, WNBA MVP for a 4th time. Major props to her and what she's bringing to the table, even though they got spanked by the Fever last night right after she got the damn award. So that's something to touch on just for a second. Of course, Cardi B, yes, you say, what that got to do with sports? Well, pregnant with Stephon Diggs' kid. That's what she announced. And on top of it all, she had an album come out that went platinum in one day. Nothing to discuss there. It was just a mention on my part. Just showing y'all that, you know what? I'm a busy man in the world of sports. Even politics sometimes, to some point these days. But it still doesn't negate me knowing about some pop culture and entertainment. What can I say? I'm a Renaissance man. I mean, I don't think I am. But y'all can. Hold on to it. Stephen A. Smith Show coming your way. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with your calls and more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show.
25 minutes past hour number 1 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Coming at you as I love to do every weekday. 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airways of SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Then Mad Dog Russo comes on with his afternoon drive show. Good afternoon, everybody! You know how he likes to do it. Then after that, he's on from 3 to 6, and then my show re-airs from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, when necessary, breaking news, stuff like that, I'll come back on the 6 o'clock hour because I like to interrupt regularly scheduled programming at my discretion. So I like that. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Some phone calls to get to in right now, right here with Stephen A., SiriusXM. Nolan in L.A., talk to me. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, Stephen A?
Speak up, bro.
I'm sick to my stomach, brother.
I imagine you are. You are.
I agree with you if people don't watch the Rams that much, if you follow them. McVay has a tendency to always do that. He takes his foot off the pedal. He has them right where they want them. As soon as the second half hits, Jared Verse gets a sack fumble, we score. We're up 26-7. And we don't score again. We have 2 field goals blocked. The kicker, I mean, I don't know if you heard what he said after the game. He's just like, no, I didn't really change anything the second kick. I just kind of do it how I usually do it. It's like, dude.
Well, wait a minute. It's not really on him, Nolan, and I'm going to tell you why. You got to protect him. I mean, when you saw Carter and Davis lined up together, them big hogs for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they were penetrating the line of scrimmage, and they were getting their arms up. Give them props where props is due. You got to do a better job blocking it. If you're a team that's giving up 3 blocked field goals, like you're kicking a field goal, and it's blocked 3 times in 2 weeks, that's a special teams problem. That's a coaching problem. That's not the kicker. That's those are your blockers. They're the problem.
Yeah, I agree. And then the other thing is that, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Every time that kid comes out in the field for us, Bo Limmer for the Eagles, he's like really he's missed a lot of assignments for us. But
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. You also need some additional weapons. I mean, listen, you got Puka Nacua, who's got 29 receptions for 333 yards in the first 3 games of this season. Your next best receiver is Devontae Adams at 13 receptions. I mean, you might need some help. And when you're looking at your running game with Kyron Williams, he is averaging 4 yards a carry, so that's not shabby. And he's got about 226 yards over the first 3 games. But you're just looking at it and you're finding yourself saying what level of help that you may need. Your tight end, you got Higbee. He's only got 4 receptions on the year for 37 yards in 3 games. You're going to need some help for Puka Nacua, too. Let's not forget that, Nolan. Let's not forget that. Let's go to T in Philly. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, T? Talk to me, baby.
Yo, T-Love's back in your house, brother.
Yeah, you want to get hung up on? You better not come to me with that T-Love stuff. You better say that for Katie Nolan or somebody. I keep telling you that, T. We're not doing that on this show. We're not doing that, T.
Stop clowning me, man. Listen, stop clowning me,
Go
man.
ahead, bro.
All right, yeah, right on. Hey, listen now. My Eagles, man. My Eagles, right? Yeah. They should have went. Yeah, we booed them yesterday. We booed them at halftime. You damn right we booed them. And that took them to get their mind straight and come out there and knock this team off in the second half. The Eagles, they should have beat them in the NFC Championship. Yeah, they should have beat them yesterday. But they didn't. They didn't beat us. Okay? So now, open your eyes, okay, for our coaches too, okay? It took for them to open their eyes and realize what we got, okay? If the run game ain't working...
So what you saying? I mean, in terms of realizing what you got, what is it that the coaching staff ain't realizing what you have? What are you talking about?
They didn't open up their passing game. You got to turn Hurts loose. You got A.J. Brown,
you got to turn. I will say this. Let me say this, T, in all seriousness, all joking aside.
What you going to say?
We got to stop criticizing A.J. Brown for doing things to speak his mind. I mean, did you see this brother yesterday? When they started throwing him the ball, he was playing bully ball. Just give me the ball. I'm a man amongst boys. These brothers can't mess with me. Give me the damn football. And that's exactly what he did. Had 106 receiving yards, right? And I'm thinking about it. In 3 games, he's had 12 receptions for 144 yards. That means you take away yesterday in the first 2 games of this season, okay, he had 6 receptions for 38 yards. Why shouldn't A.J. Brown be upset about that? He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a stud at the wide receiver. You're giving him over $30 million a year. You know he's a high-end producer, and he's telling you, let him cook. Let him loose. Me, Devontae, this is what we bring to the table. What we being all conservative for? We got a quarterback who can fling the football and get it done. You saw what he did in the second half. He found me. He found Goddard. He found Devontae. What's the problem? This Jalen Hurts we're talking about. Do y'all understand that Jalen Hurts, over the last 17 games that he has started and finished, Jalen Hurts is 17-0. That the Eagles are 20-1 in their last 21 games, and the only game they've lost is when Jalen Hurts was taken out of the game because of a concussion in the first quarter against the Commanders. That's who we're talking about here when we're talking about Jalen Hurts. The brother's special. He's special. And we got to see that for what it is. We keep talking about what he doesn't do. Well, he wins. And he wins in the right way. Remember years ago when y'all would see me on TV and I wanted to throw up because Skip Bayless loved, Tim Tebow. All he does, then that video came out. All he does is win. All he does is win games. Unleash. No. Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. Now that's who a song like that should be reserved for. The brother is special. He's special. And when you see him performing the way that he did, that yesterday, the Eagles weren't playing with any degree of urgency. Second half comes, 54% of their plays with no huddle. 54% of their plays with no huddle in the second half. That went a long way towards disrupting what the Rams were doing to them. And then you got A.J. Brown getting loose, Devontae Smith getting loose, Goddard getting loose. Saquon Barkley had 46 yards rushing. This is the same Saquon Barkley that rushed for 460 yards in 2 games against the Rams last year. 255 in one game, 205 in another, which is a playoff game. This man is what he did. McVay and them came in there and said, he ain't doing that to us this time. The Eagles said, all right, we'll find another way to beat you. What's the problem? At some point in time, when we're talking about elite quarterbacks in this game, it would be nice to remember there's a dude out there that we never really talk about that just happens to be the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion and the Super Bowl MVP, who's one of only 3 quarterbacks in history to have beaten Patrick Mahomes in a postseason matchup, joining Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. That's who we're talking about when we're talking about Jalen Hurts. Just a reminder for y'all. Just a reminder. Mike in South Carolina, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, baby. What's going on, Mike?
Well, excited, Stephen A. Pumped about this game coming up next Sunday, Philly at Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Also nervous because, the Phillies got a great defense.
Well,
Very
Tampa
concerned
Bay's had
about
their way with Philadelphia the last couple of years, though.
Yeah, I know, but, man, you see that offensive line now.
Yes.
Yeah, that offensive line is struggling, brother, for Tampa Bay.
That's true. You got injuries. I
got to keep. You got to find a way to get it. But how about big balling Money Mayfield? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He's crunch time. He's showing 3 weeks in a row. That was a layup yesterday, Stephen A. All he needed was a field goal, not a touchdown.
Well,
and would have had plenty of time to get a touchdown if they needed it.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just a little pet peeve of mine, y'all. Just a little pet peeve. I'm unapologetic. I don't root against anybody, but am I rooting for African-American coaches to succeed? Yes, I want Aaron Glenn to succeed in New York. I can't stand watching him prance on the sidelines when the Jets make a big play because if there's time left on the clock, they'll find a way to lose. And sure enough, that's exactly what the hell happened yesterday. I can't stand premature celebrations. That really, really rakes my damn nerve. It's a pet peeve with me. Celebrate when it's time. Don't celebrate when you still got a game to win and you haven't won it yet. It reminds me about the Minnesota Vikings did last year. Remember when the Minnesota Vikings, Mike, went 14-2 with Sam Darnold? And everybody was showering them with water, acting like it was champagne and there was some championship celebration. And I'm on the air and I go like this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Is it just me or do they still have a division title to win? Because they had a season finale against the Detroit Lions and it was a division championship on the line. And you can either be the number 1 seed or you were going to fall to the 5th seed. if you lost the game, and sure enough, Minnesota got bum rushed, all right? Detroit beats them, and then they go to the postseason and they get shellacked by the Rams in the aftermath of that. And I just found myself saying, what's up? You know, you didn't win anything yet. That's how I looked at Aaron Glenn yesterday. And I'm going like this. That's Baker Mayfield on the opposite side of the field. Former number 1 overall pick whose career was thought to be over after what happened in Cleveland and then Carolina. And then you're looking at him even with spot duty as a Los Angeles Ram when Matthew Stafford went down. You just found yourself saying, what's he going to do? And sure enough, he arrives in Tampa, succeeding Tom Brady, looks pretty damn good, and then elevates the great. The brother's been flinging touchdown passes. Mike Evans is one of the steady, most reliable all-pros in the game. You got Godwin, who's back from his injury, but because before he had his injury, he was a stud. And this kid Ibuka out of Ohio State is no joke. We can't dismiss Tampa Bay at all. We can't do it. We just can't do it. Ronald, in New York, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Ronald. How are you?
Stephen A., how we doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. I can't complain. What's up?
Well, look, I haven't talked to you in a minute, but a lot of things have happened in the world. Stephen A., you've heard of a statement to where if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
Okay. Yes,
I've
heard
that
of that many
times. As a sports fan, because of the things that have happened in our world recently, I'm going to get to my Cowboys point in a minute. You know, us sports fans have had to pretty much make a decision based off our sports viewership that we rely on all of our lives. And I'm in one of them situations. And for guys like me,
I need you to get to the point and tell us what the hell you talk about, because I don't know what you talk about yet.
Because the only way right now, Stephen A., that I have access to my man Stephen A. is right now because I've taken a stand against the company you work for. Okay. Are we wrong for that?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Let me get to my Cowboy point. Go ahead. First of all, I got to pretty much bow down to you as much as I have raved at you at what I feel my personal opinions are about how you feel about the Cowboys, the fans, and whatever. Their performance always feeds into your narrative of the 29, 30 years, and we cannot combat that. Exactly. However, your boss man, your friend who gave you the award the other day,
my buddy, Jerry Jones.
We don't fight how great a businessman he is. But on the other hand, being fair, as you say, the decisions he's made as a GM and owner in which you decide to get rid of this great pass rusher who's coming to town next week.
That's right.
Okay, cannot help that defensive backfield that is lacking. But a great decision. You can't tell him nothing that he made the right decision, but look at how you've damaged your team.
Right.
Okay.
Listen, I love Jerry Jones. I love him. I really, really do. I'm not here to defend him in terms of his football decisions. He knows that. I'm famous for telling them to his face. I didn't think he should trade Micah Parsons. But then when you have mismanaged, at least in some people's eyes, the cap and what have you, and you're going to have over $200 million tied and 50% of the cap tied up in 4 players, if you do sign Micah Parsons, it's not that he should have traded Micah Parsons. He may have very well had no choice because of previous decisions that he's made. You've given Dak Prescott $60 million. The market demanded that. Dak Prescott has won 2 playoff games in 10 years, and he's the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. Still, he's getting paid more than Joe Burrow. He's getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes. He's getting paid more than Jalen Hurts. He's getting paid more than Josh Allen. He's getting paid more than people who have won more playoff games than him. He's getting paid more than Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield is making almost half of what Dak Prescott is making. Do you understand that Baker Mayfield's at about $33 million? Dak's at $60. Think about that. So Baker Mayfield put you in a position to get better talent to join him. Jerry Jones said, okay, we got Pickens to join CeeDee Lamb. That's supposed to be an elite wide receiver tandem. We got Ferguson in the tight end spot. He's not a scrub. Devontae Williams is running the football effectively enough. We got him. What's the problem? We got an offensive line that's capable of protecting you, but the defense is trash. Hey, it is what it is. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call that's 888-623-3646. By the way, in terms of, the network and all of this other stuff, I'm not getting into that Jimmy Kimmel stuff. What I would tell you is this. So many decisions are made, and people try to attach a belief as to why those decisions are made. Oh, my goodness, somebody got pulled over FCC airwaves and all of that other stuff. There were local affiliates that did that. Everybody wants to blame everybody else. You don't know all the details. You don't know all the facts. But everybody has standards. And it ain't always the federal government. Sometimes it's individual corporations and companies. You have standards. Okay? You can agree or disagree with the decision. I've been suspended before. I've been fired before. I ain't seen nobody protesting then. So do your homework and be patient and wait to see how things fall out before you make your decisions. Because, ladies and gentlemen, live events and sports, we ain't going nowhere. And it's incredibly exciting. And no matter how many times people try to rain on your parade and bring unhappiness into your life. Last time I checked, I'm working. Hell, I'm here in Baltimore. Getting ready to do Monday Night Football. Big time Ravens, Lions, Monday Night Football game. I got colleagues, contemporaries, and other folks working right in front of me. Everybody seem happy. Don't let folks rain on your parade. Don't let them get you caught up in stuff that you have little to no knowledge about. Just because some people want to sit up there and argue because something seems to be some way and they don't have any clue what the hell is going on. Live your life, bro. Be happy. Don't let nobody rain on your parade. This ain't the only place to have access to me, but it is the best. Because when you get to sit up here and talk to me, how can it be any better than that? Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio in the house. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Back with more of your phone calls to close out hour number 1 in a minute. Don't go away.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, don't miss another edition of Let's Go with Jim Gray, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, Raiders star Max Crosby, and Peter King as they recap Week 3 of the NFL season on NFL Radio, Channel 88. You can get the extended version on the Sirius XM app. Also, every NFL game is on Sirius XM. Tonight at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions hit the road to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Listen to the Lions broadcast on Sirius 81 XM 226, the Ravens broadcast on Sirius 83 XM 225, and the national broadcast on NFL Radio, Channel 88. You can also catch all the action on the Sirius XM app. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. It's 888-623-3646. Before I get back to the calls, let me touch on the Chiefs and the New York Giants. First of all, the Chiefs couldn't lose this game. They would have fallen to 0-3, considering the way the Chargers and the Broncos are looking, because that was a big-time game yesterday that the Chargers won 23-20. The Chiefs probably would have had an insurmountable deficit. They probably wouldn't have come back. I don't view the Chiefs in the way that most people do. I think that injuries have played a role. If Rashee Rice were back from his 6-game suspension, if Xavier Worthy hadn't gotten hurt the first game of the season with the separated shoulder caused to him by running into his teammate Travis Kelce, I think the combination of those two being on the field with Travis Kelce, with Hollywood Brown, would have left a very formidable lineup for the folks to have to deal with when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Having said all of that, I want to say something that might be very unpopular, but I do not care. If I were the Kansas City Chiefs, I'd do everything that I could to get Tyreek Hill back. I'm not saying that I would give up Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, but would I give up one of them to get Tyreek Hill? Yes, I would. The cheetah is the cheetah. The brother is still electrifying. His speed is undeniable, and he's got a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa that can't give him the ball. It's telling him he's going to have to stop and come back for the ball because he can't get it as far as he needs to be able to get that football. Tyreek Hill needs to be with a quarterback with an arm that can fling that bad boy. And I know that he had issues and accusations of domestic violence and all of this other stuff. The only reason I'm taking the position is because he's still playing in the NFL. He's not on the commissioner's list. He hasn't been taken off the football field. He's categorically denied there's any truth to the allegations that have been leveled against him, even though he's had his mishaps in the past. All of that stuff is true. My point is, if you're in an NFL uniform and you're playing in the National Football League, okay, if I can get Tyreek Hill back with Travis Kelce, with Patrick Mahomes, with Andy Reid calling plays, I believe the Kansas City Chiefs should do it, and I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will be right in position to recapture another Super Bowl championship. That's what I believe if they got Tyreek Hill. Let me get to the New York Giants and the biggest story. Hey, Brian Dable, Joe Shane, do you want your job? Do you want to keep your jobs? Somebody's got to talk to them. Do you want to keep your job or not? Do you want to keep your job or not? Or maybe I should sound funny like Michael Irvin in the Netflix hit The Gambler, Jerry Jones and his Cowboys on Netflix, which is a great, great docuseries. You got to check it out. When Troy Aikman goes down and Steve Berline steps in and Michael Irvin goes up to him and he says, give me the ball. You want to stay in the league? You want to keep your job? Give me the ball. If I'm Brian Dable and I'm Joe Shane, I'm literally looking into the camera right here on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82, and I'm telling you, do you want to keep your job? Put Jackson Dart in. Put him in. This is it. Giants are 0-3. Giants, ladies and gentlemen, you can make a legitimate argument that this once proud organization, once in the conversation as the gold standard of the National Football League, you can literally make a legitimate argument about the New York Giants that they are the worst organization in football. Since 2011, who's lost more? One could argue Jacksonville. At least I could say that Jacksonville was in an AFC Championship game in 2017 against the New England Patriots with Blake Bortles as their quarterback. What have the Giants done? What have they done? What have they done? I'm not throwing shade on this organization. I'm quite sure there's very, very nice people there. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just speaking facts here. They're not very good. They find a way to lose. And Russell Wilson ain't going to do it for you. And I know that's hard to say because we just watched him throw for 450 yards against the Dallas Cowboys, and we know that the brother can throw the deep ball. He's always been able to do that. But he ain't what he used to be. And you don't see the team having a lot of faith in him. And he made some mistakes yesterday yet again. And I think that sooner than later, Jackson Dart has to be put into the starting lineup as the quarterback for the New York Giants. Otherwise, Brian Dable and Joe Shane are going to lose their job. It's not to say they ain't going to lose their job anyway, but it's certainly able to say that if they keep Russell Wilson in the lineup. I'm just telling you what I know. 3 incompletions after the after the Giants were trailing 22-9. Wilson threw 3 completions out of the end zone to turn it over on downs with less than 3 minutes to play. He looked absolutely dreadful. Awful. Dable says Jackson's progressing well. Come on, man. Come on. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Tony in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Stephen A., I got a lot to tell you right now. You're talking about Jimmy Kimmel. He's got to go. The real people that got to go, Brian Dable and Joe Shane. They're buffoons. They got to go today. You look at Saquon. He leaves. He rushes for 2,000 yards. Daniel Jones. He leaves. He becomes Peyton Manning. The offensive line cannot be fixed. Even Sterling Shepard's winning games for the Buccaneers.
You know, I didn't even bring that up. Credit to you, Tony. Credit to you, Tony. I didn't even bring that up. Daniel Jones left the New York Giants, and he's looking all world. He looks great. Daniel Jones looks great. And he just left the Giants. Appreciate the call, Tony. Go ahead. I'll give you the last word, Tony. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead, Tony.
What you gotta calm me down, Stephen A. What should
I ain't gonna calm you down.
Fans,
and you're absolutely right.
We got nothing to look forward to.
You have nothing to look forward to. Listen, man, let me tell you something right now. Your Thanksgiving and Christmas ain't gonna be good. Root for the New York Giants. I'm telling you that right now. And the same could be set for the Jets. So basically in the state of New York, or in the city of New York, even though the games are being played in East Rutherford, New Jersey, basically we're looking at a situation where it's like, damn, here we are, here we go. It's one of those situations where you're looking at the Jets and the Giants, and it's like there's no reprieve. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, in New York City, can y'all tell me which team is worse? I don't know the answer to this question. Which team is worse? Which organization is worse? That's the conversation that's transpiring in New York when it comes to football. What a damn shame. Matt in Indiana, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A. Hey, I have a quick comment, then I have to go on a rant.
Okay.
So, first, I think Jonathan Taylor's your rush leading this year.
Yep.
First time he's had a balanced offense, and the AFC South is trash. So, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be your rush leader. Now, Cleveland Browns, arguably the best defense in the league. Myles Garrett, arguably one of the best defensive players in the league.
Stud.
Joe Burrow's hurt. The Pittsburgh Steelers are suspect at best. I know you still have the Ravens. For the love of God, when are they going to get Joe Flacco out and make a move? Stephen A., hit me on the numbers. I'm wide open, and tell me how they could be any worse with Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. Please, convince me I'm wrong.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you from the standpoint that, you know what, one could imagine if Joe Flacco is not, this is not Joe Flacco from 2 years ago that took them to the playoffs. That much I will tell you. He looks worse than that. I mean, Cleveland trailed 10-0 late in the game, scored all 13 of its points in the final 3 minutes and 38 seconds. So that means for the game's first 56 minutes, they did absolutely nothing for you. I can't imagine that Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel could be worse. And then when you look at their defense, they're first in total defense, first in rushing defense, and fourth in pass defense. So Cleveland's defense is no joke. Make no mistake about it. Held the Packers to 230 yards, just 3.8 yards per play. Josh Jacobs only had 30 yards and 16 carries. They sacked Jordan Love a career high time 5 times. He was pressed on 42% of his dropbacks. Cleveland's defense is no joke. Clearly the problem is their offense. No doubt about it. And with all those quarterbacks they had in a quarterback room, it's hard to imagine how they haven't been able to find anybody that can produce something for them. No doubt about it. So I appreciate where you're coming from with that. No question about it. It is what it is. It's something to be concerned about. I wish I could give you better advice, but I can't. But I'll give you the last word. How about that? All right. He's gone. I don't blame him. You know, it's sad when you see some of these quarterbacks in the National Football League looking the way that they looked. But it's equally invigorating to see a Daniel Jones playing the way that he's playing, a Baker Mayfield playing the way that he's playing, a Josh Allen playing the way that he's playing. And then we got a quarterback matchup tonight here in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson going up against Jared Goff. You know, it could be a Super Bowl preview. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be. It's not far-fetched to look at Baltimore versus Detroit and say these are the two teams that can end up being in the Super Bowl together. No doubt about that. So all of those things are things to look at. But I'm looking at, unfortunately, I'm stuck on a Russell Wilson looking awful. I'm stuck on a C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans inexplicably looking bad. I don't know what the hell is going on in H-Town. They 0-3 on the season. This is a team we had winning the AFC South. And now all eyes point to Indy, even though Jacksonville is 2-1 over the first 3 games. So I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, what the hell? I didn't anticipate this. This is getting very, very interesting. Week 3 of the National Football League. This is the kind of thing that makes the National Football League so great. 3 weeks in, and storylines change. They flip the script, and now you're thinking about people that you haven't even thought about at all and saying they're going to be contenders. He's right. Jonathan Taylor is a stud doing his thing, too. More of Hour number 2 coming up next. I'm live doing Monday Night Countdown for ESPN tonight. Live from Baltimore. Baltimore versus the Lions, Detroit Lions. Hour number 2 up next.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to hour number 2, Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airways of Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Again, that's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. I am coming at you live from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, home of the Baltimore Ravens, where I will be tonight. I'm doing the show from here today because tonight I debut on Monday night NFL Countdown for ESPN. So I won't be on all the time, but I'll be on a few times throughout the year. I can't wait. Working with my boys Ryan Clark, Jason Kelsey, Swagoo himself, Marcus Spears, the great Scott Van Pelt hosting the show as well. Just joining the party. Just filling in, having a good time with my day job colleagues. So got nothing but love for them. Looking forward to having a blast, just like I'm having a blast right now, talking to y'all on the airwaves. Over the airwaves of Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Again, 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call. That's 888-623-3646. Tonight's a big game. The question is, who's it a bigger game for? When I look at the Baltimore Ravens, obviously you want it to matter, and it's like you don't want to give the Steelers an edge, even though you're a better team than the Steelers without question. And you're the top-ranked offense in the National Football League, averaging over 40 points a game. The reality is that you don't want to fall a game behind the Steelers in the AFC North. But with the Cincinnati Bengals getting thrashed, by the way, yesterday by the Minnesota Vikings, you know, with Jake Browning as their quarterback because Joe Burrow is out for the next few months with his turf toe injuries, with Cleveland devoid of an offense to speak of, it's really the Baltimore Ravens division to lose. We all know that Pittsburgh has a lot of work to do. As Aaron Rodgers stated yesterday, offensively, he's got a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do. I don't understand how DK Metcalf can't get open these days. I just don't understand it. It just shows they miss George Pickens as well, because George Pickens being opposite him may have been of extreme help. I thought Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith at the tight end spot would be security blankets for Aaron Rodgers, and to some degree they have been, but still in all, the Steelers' offense just seemed to be a bit pedestrian, to say the least. So there's nobody in the division that's better than the Baltimore Ravens, and as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody in the conference that can make a legitimate argument that they're better than the Ravens, maybe outside of the Buffalo Bills. And even then, from a roster standpoint, you can't look at the Buffalo Bills and say they're better, you know, with you know, Shakir and with Keon Coleman and, you know, James Cook out of the backfield. Josh Allen is a stud. We get that. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens from top to bottom, when you look at the tight ends with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, when you look at the wide receivers with D-Hop and Bateman and Zay Flowers, when you look at King Henry coming out of the backfield, we all thought about Saquon Barkley, right? You forgot who the leading rusher in the AFC was last year. You got the fact that was King Henry, who ran for over 1,900 yards. He just didn't have the 2,005 yards that Saquon Barkley had. But King Henry does his thing. There are no weaknesses when you look at the Baltimore Ravens. And so to me, it's more than apropos that I've got them as the favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And tonight would be a good way to go about showing that. Did y'all know that when it comes to Lamar Jackson, what this brother has done on Monday Night Football? Do you have any idea what he has done and how he has showed out when it comes to what you're supposed to do on Monday Night Football? That's Lamar Jackson. Monday nights, look at the comparisons between him and Jared Goff. Both of them have 7-2 records on Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson's completed 69% of his passes. Jared Goff is at 71%. Net yards per game, Lamar Jackson's at 275.8. Jared Goff is at 277.2. Touchdown passes, he eclipses Jared Goff 22-19. Do y'all know that Lamar Jackson has never committed a single turnover on Monday Night Football? Jared Goff has committed 6. Lamar Jackson, 0. Did y'all know that when it comes to a passer rating on Monday Night Football, Lamar Jackson has the best passer rating in Monday Night Football history at 124.3. When Monday night shows up, so does he. He's 20-6 lifetime in all primetime games. He's 22-3 at home in primetime games under John Harbaugh. That's who we're talking about with Lamar Jackson. So we now gotten to a point where it's time to start acknowledging this. The only thing that's holding Lamar Jackson back is that he doesn't have a berth to the Super Bowl or Super Bowl championship. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about with Lamar Jackson during the regular season. There's nothing else to talk about because he's just that phenomenal, that great. There's nothing to talk about. Jared Goff is a different animal because despite the fact that he's had his troubles, despite the fact that the Rams couldn't give him away for a box of cookies, they wanted Matthew Stafford so bad, and they gave up about 3 first-round picks to get their hands on Matthew Stafford, and they gave the Detroit Lions those picks and Jared Goff a few years back. And Matthew Stafford has showed to be true because Matthew Stafford delivered the Super Bowl championship for them. They beat Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. But with Jared Goff, with his record, not too shabby, 105.6 rating, passer rating on Monday Night Football. Give him credit where credit is due. He's been to 2 NFC championship games. He's been to a Super Bowl as the starting quarterback for his team. So we got to take that into consideration when it comes to Jared Goff as well. Here's the thing about Jared Goff. When you look at the Detroit Lions and the weapons that they have, in terms of all-purpose yards eclipsing 1,000, 2 of their receivers, Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and 2 of their running backs, Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery, all had 1,000-plus all-purpose yards last year. They've had a top 3 to 5 offense over the last 3 years. Ben Johnson is no longer there as the offensive coordinator. John Morton is the offensive coordinator. And props to him because I had questions about him after week 1, but he showed up in week 2 and showed he was the right man for the job with what he did against the Chicago Bears. Let's see what he does against the Baltimore Ravens tonight to further validate claims that he's worthy of being the successor to Ben Johnson, as opposed to Engstrand, who departed from Detroit when he didn't get the offensive coordinator's job in favor of Morton, and he decided to join Aaron Glenn in East Rutherford, New Jersey for the New York Jets. Either way you slice it, it's something to think about, but I'm just looking at these offensive weapons for Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry in 2 games, 192 yards rushing, 6.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns in 2 games. Zay Flowers, 14 catches in 2 games. Rashad Bateman and DeAndre Hopkins, 2 TDs in 2 games. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely doing their thing. Likely's been ruled out for the 3rd straight game with a foot injury, by the way. But it appears he's nearing a return. And right now, when you talk about matchups, I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Ravens quarterback Marlon Humphreys. I'm looking to see if the Lions offense, which rehabilitated itself and rebounded in week 2, whether or not they're going to do something in week 3, now that they're going up against the better team than the Chicago Bears, which is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm looking at all of those things, and I'm just of the mindset this is a big-time Monday Night Football game. It's the kind of game we should all look forward to. It should be a showstopper, and I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646 to the peeps in here. Now it's gotten too cold again. Could y'all turn the AC down, please? You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all gonna get me sick. 1 minute I'm sweating, the next minute I'm freezing. What's up? 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let's go back to the phones right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's go to Javante. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Javante?
Yeah, Stephen A. Oh man, I can't even.
I'm the only one that gets to do that, my brother.
Words right now.
I'm the only one that gets to do that, my brother. How you doing?
You're right. You probably got that copyright. Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Yeah.
They. What can you say? LA is the team to beat right now in LA. They're better than the Rams.
I don't know about that. Whoa. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They struggled to win that game. They struggled to win that game against. They struggled to win that game yesterday against the Broncos. Props to them, but we can't summarily dismiss that they're better than the Los Angeles Rams. You can't just do that. You can't just say that that's a fact.
Well, there's a better team in LA right now. How about that one?
I just said it's them on the Rams. I said you can't just say they're the better team in LA.
All right, Jesse Minter. I think he gets enough credit, but I'm going to give him his flowers. Jesse Minter, he's a genius. I think he's going to be a head coach in this league one day. Jim Harbaugh. How about the job
that Jim Harbaugh is doing with Herbert? He completed 8 or 9 passes for 93 yards and a touchdown on the final 2 game-deciding drives. Give major props to Herbert. All right, that's playing, that's balling out, and clearly Jim Harbaugh has had a positive effect on him. How about that?
The fourth quarter, yes. Justin Herbert in the fourth quarter versus the Broncos, he was 12 of 15, one TD, and 9 first downs. Since 2020, Justin Herbert has had 17 comeback victories.
But don't give me that. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. He's in his 6th season. He entered the season 41-38 without a single playoff victory. Don't do that. Don't come to me with his comeback victories. He only threw 3 interceptions last year, the entire regular season, then showed up in the postseason and threw 4 interceptions in 1 game. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't act like he's doing something in the first 3 weeks of the season, so all of a sudden his narrative is finite. No. He can change. He can flip the script on you in a heartbeat. Don't do that.
But ever since, all right, we 3-0 in divisions. I need the Raiders and the Broncos fan to sit y'all asses down. I don't want to hear no one of y'all calling up to your radio talking about this.
Okay, so
it's
I got to go. Javante, I got to go. I don't want to listen to you any longer because you're getting on my nerves. And the reason you're getting on my nerves, I say that in all fun, my brother. The reason why you're getting on my nerves because you're talking smack to a Denver Broncos fan. Since Sean Payton arrived, they're 2-8 in one-score games. Since Sean Payton arrived. All right, they'll need to be better, but they have gotten better. Denver's defense is not slouchy. Bo Nix can play. Sutton can play. They got some weapons. Let's see what they do when they got to go to the Mile High City. Let's see what they're going to do then, all right? Monica, you're live with Stephen A. right here on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Hello, Monica. How are you?
Hey, Stephen A. This is Monica from Allentown. Before I get into my football point, I wanted to tell you, I listened to your political show last Wednesday and really enjoyed it, so keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
I wanted to pile on a little bit about the Giants, and I've been one of those people who've watched them afar, and I felt like the Giants have sort of got what they deserved when they got rid of Tom Coughlin. I just thought that was terrible. They've had some pretty poor GMs up to that point, the later Coughlin regime.
Yeah, we complained about Tom Coughlin. We complained about Tom Coughlin, but Lord, do they look like they missed him. I mean, it's been bad since he's been gone. It's been bad.
And they just never have addressed their offensive line, and I kind of feel bad for the quarterbacks to go there and who have gone there. I'm really happy for Daniel Jones, and I don't know what was going on with Russell Wilson last night. I don't know if he was just trying to hit goalposts or at the end of the game, but how they don't start.
Hold on, Monica. Hold on, Monica. Do you believe in the saying that the late, great Marvin Hagler, former middleweight champion of the world in boxing, once said that it's pretty difficult to get up in the morning, when you're going to sleep, when you sleep in the silk pajamas? Do you believe in that statement?
I hadn't really thought about it before, but I guess I could be sold on it.
Well, let me tell you why I say that. Because to men, anyway, Sierra, Russell Wilson's wife,
she's beautiful.
Would qualify as silk pajamas in terms of the comfort level. You see what I'm saying? Metaphorically speaking, it would qualify.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
People have called before that said, how long does it take for a team to rebuild? Because it just seems like the Giants have been rebuilding for a million years, and I would make the argument they should never have drafted Saquon when they did, because they weren't ready to win. And I totally understand when they let him go, but they never should have had him to begin with. But again, you got to go to Dart right now. I don't know what you're waiting for. And
you got to go. You got to listen. I think if they don't go, I think if Dable and Shane do not go to Dart, they'll lose their job in the next several weeks. That's where I'm at with it. Appreciate the call, though. Yes, they are. They are 0-3. They 0-3, and the season's practically over now. Let's go to Joe. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Joe. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Stephen A.? Long time.
How you doing, my man? How's everything?
Hey, in honor of your top 5 on Friday, I just wanted to say, in the words of the immortal Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do, brother, when Myles Garrett and the dog pound defense and Quinshon Judkins run wild on you? And the reason I'm saying that is not because the Browns are going to be successful this year, but I think the identity of the team is starting to clear up a little bit with getting Quinshon Judkins into the game and getting him the ball. And not relying on Joe Flacco. And here's the other thing about Joe Flacco. He doesn't make a lot of bad decisions. The problem is he cannot extend a play like maybe a Gabriel can or a Shador. So, when the defense gets on him, and the offensive line for the Browns was hideous yesterday. I know what's his name went down early in the game, but either way, they looked a little lost. But either way, you sit there for 2 hours, Stephen A. And you're just like,
Yeah.
it's time to go.
Well,
outside
listen.
and let it rest again.
You can't. Judkins is averaging over 5.5. Yeah, he's averaging about 5.5 yards a carry. But you can't just give him the ball. You got to put somebody in there. I mean, Jerry Jeudy can play, and Njoku is no scrub. I mean, you've got some weapons out there that you can do a thing or two with. Okay, but you just got to utilize them. You got to find a Fannin is doing a decent job for you at the tight ends, but you got to find a way. You got to figure out a way to do something. All right, because you're going to have to put the young bloods up in there. Whether it's Dylan Gabriel or it's a Shador Sanders, you're going to have to give them a chance. Make no mistake about it. Let me go back to the phones. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Oscar in Texas. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Oscar? Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A., what's going on, man?
I'm all right.
I don't know what to do about my Cowboys. You hit the nail on the head. Who in the hell decides to run the ball with CD in the backfield like that? And look what happens. I mean, come on.
Oh, by the way, I got some news. Oscar, I'm not gonna hang up on you. I got some news for you because you just brought it up. Adam Schefter, the Ultimate Insider from ESPN, is just now reporting Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb suffered a high ankle sprain during Sunday's loss to the Bears, which will make him unlikely to play Sunday night versus the Green Bay Packers, per sources. The Cowboys want to see how Lamb is doing the next 10 to 14 days before making further determinations about his status, but he will not play this Sunday night versus the Green Bay Packers. Oscar, the floor is yours.
Well, that's great. We're probably looking at least 2 weeks, probably 3 to 4. So who's going to step up, right? So
nobody.
And the way that defense played yesterday, Stephen A. Oh my gosh. I'm 5'9", 230. I could have probably gained 100 yards on that defense just for running the ball.
Listen. Did you see how? Listen, I'm very proud of Caleb Williams and the job he did yesterday. I really, really am. Did you see how wide open their receivers were? I mean, there were no Cowboy defenders in the vicinity for at least 3 touchdowns. And on top of it all, the flea flicker between him and DeAndre Swift. Was that not the worst flea flicker you've ever seen in football? I mean, the dude threw it up to the rafters before it came back down into the hands of Caleb Williams before he launched the damn touchdown pass from 65 yards. I'm like, my God. I mean, what kind of a flea flicker was that? But you didn't have to worry about that because there was no pass rush. So even though it took forever to come down into the hands of Caleb Williams, you still had time to throw the damn football because the Dallas Cowboys don't have a pass rush. That's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and even if we did have Micah, man, I don't know, Stephen A. If
you could get to the quarterback. Your defense would be better. Your defense would be better because you would be able to get to the quarterback. That's the point. Okay, you'd have guys out there hunting, and you wouldn't have as much time to sit back and throw, which would help your secondary out a little bit, as opposed to them getting exposed because you got all day to throw the damn football. But that's the situation, Oscar. I got to run. Appreciate the call. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. By the way, don't miss a special edition of Mad Dog Unleashed tomorrow with Christopher Mad Dog Russo as he broadcasts live from Bethpage Black in New York, the site of the 2025 Ryder Cup. Doggy will be joined by surprise guests and have plenty of fun along the way as he gets ready for golf's biggest competition of the year. Listen tomorrow from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, and on the Sirius XM app. Your calls, more football talk. Gonna touch on Asia Wilson, a little something extra in a minute. Don't touch that dial. Stick around. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Back with more in a minute.
Think you have what it takes to debate Stephen A? Call the show at 888 Mad Dog 6. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
More breaking news from the Ultimate NFL Insider, Mr. Adam Schefter. Tests today showed that 49ers Pro Bowl defensive end Nick Bosa suffered a season-ending torn ACL during Sunday's win over Arizona, sources tell ESPN. It's a clean tear, but Bosa now will need season-ending surgery. 49ers started off 6-3-0, squeezing by in a narrow one-point victory over the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. Are now going to be without Nick Bosa for the rest of the year. Already without Brock Purdy for the time being. Brandon Ayuk isn't back yet, so just a bunch of stuff going on. You're just looking at all these damn injuries. I'd give anything if they could just figure out a way, soften the turf without it being a danger to knees or ACLs or Achilles. When people and the players and their head hit the ground somehow, it was cushioned to some degree where you wouldn't see these concussions. I mean, so much stuff, so many injuries come with NFL football, man. Good Lord. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call. This 888-623-3646. Before I get back to the calls, I want to play some sound for y'all because, listen, shocking as it may be to a lot of you out there, I do have humility. I'm not accustomed to being awarded anything, Work hard, put my head down. I want to get paid appropriately, keep it moving. But, it's very rare that moments stir up where you find yourself touched by certain things. And Nancy Lieberman, one of the greatest female basketball players ever, female basketball minds ever, Hall of Famer, won national championships, won titles, one of the great, great players and basketball minds that exist out there, has a wonderful, wonderful foundation, and operates out of Dallas, Texas, and throws an annual event every year. And they honored me with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And unbeknownst to me, the presenter for that Lifetime Achievement Award that was given to me was none other than Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Had a game in Chicago. He sent the team on the way, and he stayed behind because rather than send a video, he wanted to present to me personally, I was told. And sure enough, I was told that afterwards. But I didn't know. And so it was shocking to see it. And this is Jerry Jones talking about yours truly. Listen up.
But I do want you to know, Stephen A., I know you moved to the backstage. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Stephen A. Smith has changed things. He really, really has. He has literally, dare I say the word, reinvented how to talk about issues. And he does it with genuineness. He does it with preparedness. I'm not exaggerating. Nobody's more prepared than he is. Now, many of you in this room may not understand this, but you do know he's the worst cowboy adversary that we've got. Without a doubt. And I'm right there in the middle of it as far as that goes. Now, it's hard for me to brag on him after the ass kicking that he's given the Cowboys for all the years. But I can do that because of how much respect that I have for him. Nancy, you couldn't, for me, have separated me from my team tonight as we get ready to play the Bears in Chicago tomorrow with any person more deserving than Stephen A.
I can't even tell y'all how surprising that was and what that meant to me personally. Listen, everybody knows I troll the Cowboys because I can't stand their fans. But I say that affectionately. I'm just a Cowboy hater in that regard because their fans get on my nerves. We know we're going to the Super Bowl, right? We know we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? No matter how they look. And but it's all in fun. And, somebody with Jerry's position, the man's worth $13 billion. His franchise is worth $13 billion. He's worth $16 billion. He built it from scratch. If you go and look at his docuseries that's on Netflix, The Gambler, Jerry Jones and his Dallas Cowboys, it's an absolutely fascinating series telling his story. Well, what he tells about his story and his life is something that he's blessed me with the knowledge of from his mouth long before that docuseries ever came out. And we've gotten to know each other over the years. And even though I troll the Cowboys at every turn, he knows it's all in fun. But when it comes to serious things, he's a good man. And I say that because regardless of the frustrating business decisions that he may make when it comes to players and things of that nature, there's so much good that I know personally that he's done for so many players that have come through the NFL and beyond. Stuff that y'all would never imagine that he has done and he has continued to do throughout the years. And so that's where, my love and affection for him comes into play. And I'm incredibly thankful and grateful for the kind of relationship that we have with one another. Most of the talking we do is not in front of the cameras. It's not on the airwaves. But there's a lot of conversations that he and I have had and will continue to have, throughout the course of time, because he's just that kind of person when it comes to me. And so I'm incredibly grateful and thankful to have him in my life on a level that we have in terms of our relationship with one another. And I'm very thankful for it, and I was grateful to him to introduce me with that award. He didn't tell the truth, though, when he was talking about my basketball career. He said I was some great basketball player. I don't know who the hell told him that. I don't have that. There's no proof of that whatsoever. Could I ball? Yes, but y'all would never know because I have no evidence of that whatsoever. My collegiate career cracking my kneecap in half. As far as I'm concerned, I was a bona fide scrub. So that's just the way it goes. But other than that, everything he said, I really appreciated, and I was very, very touched by. And I just wanted to thank him again personally. It made it kind of hard for me to troll the Cowboys today. It really, really did. I had to shake it off a little bit, I'll be back to normal next week. But I just felt that after he was so kind Saturday night, I just wasn't in the mood to do that to him today. Anyway, 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let me also say this, because I'm staying with sports and I'm staying with football, but I'm staying with life on something that I'm about to say, because it's very important, okay? So, am I the drama? That is the title of Cardi B's new album that's out, that went platinum in one day. And leading up to the album's release, she announced that Stephon Diggs of the New England Patriots, formerly of the Houston Texans, formerly of the Buffalo Bills, formerly of the Minnesota Vikings, is the father of her baby. That is their business. I'm not getting into all of that. I just wanted to send a message to everybody out there. If you recall, just a few months ago, they were talking major trash about one another. And the only thing that I wanted to say is that since Cardi B proudly announced that there's a child coming into the world, you do understand that your words live in infamy. They go nowhere. And that child one day may very, very well hear how mom and dad were talking about one another. So let that be a lesson to all of us, that not throwing any shade on Cardi B, not throwing any shade on Stephon Diggs, keep your private business, especially your private animus or animosity towards one another, private. It's none of our business. None of us needed to know what he said about her. None of us needed to know what she had to say about him. Okay? And now you got a kid in the world that y'all said that stuff about one another to the world, that folks can dredge up at any time they want to put your business out there about how you feel about one another. Since he's a sports star and obviously she's a superstar in pop culture and entertainment, keep your business to yourself. It's none of our business. Because you don't want your kid growing up in this world and somebody's digging up stuff from years earlier about how you talked about one another. That's all I wanted to say about that. Nothing more. Nothing more. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let's get back to the phones. Case Raider, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. How are you?
What's up? It's Stephen A. Smith. A long-time listener of you, man. Great fan of you, man. Love what you do, man. And I'm just like you, man. I say a lot of things that people don't like, but I say it because it's the truth, Stephen A. And I get emotional like you do, Stephen A. And I'm sick and tired of these Raiders, Stephen A. Every year. 43 years I've been a Raider fan, Stephen A. Smith. And every year, who in the hell thought it was going to be okay to bring Pete Carroll in? Who?
The oldest coach in the National Football League. Well, Tom Brady did sign off on that. He did sign off on that. Mark Davis did sign off on that. I mean, and in fairness, Pete Carroll has been a successful coach. He does know what he's doing. I just think that Geno is Geno, and he's always going to be who he is. He's not going to be terrible, but he's not going to be great. This kid, Ashton Jeanty, I'm not hearing good stuff about him, bro. Case Raider, I'm not hearing good stuff about him. I'm hearing he's relatively undersized. He's devoid of that it factor, and he's complaining about not getting enough touches, averaging less than 3 yards a carry. There's a lot of people that are not expecting great things from him. I got to tell you, and it will be bad if he ends up being a bust. It will be bad, and he didn't work out. You don't know what he could do in the 40. You don't know what he did. He didn't go through all of that for the NFL scouting combine and all that. He didn't do that. So it's very, very possible, and I hope that I'm wrong, because I shouldn't say me. The pundits are wrong, but they're saying Ashton Genty. I mean, this kid out of Boise State, I mean, he's not going to be that dude. And if that's the case, then you wasted a number 6 overall pick. That's not good, Case Raider. It's not good.
Dude, that's what the Raiders do. When is the NFL going to step in and go to teams like Mark Davis and tell him that you got to go, man, because you are ruining players' careers?
You can't tell an owner they got to go just because they suck.
Man, he got to go. He got to go.
You can't do that. You can't. No. You can't do that. You can't do that. Now, if you violate morals clauses and stuff like that, and you impugn the integrity of the league, that's a different animal. But you can't look at the Las Vegas Raiders and say, well, you know what? Your team is bad. You seem disorganized and discombobulated. We don't want you there. Okay? Trust me, you can't do that. If they could, the NBA would have done that to James Dolan years ago with the New York Knicks. Before he got Leon Rose, not since, but before that. So sorry, that's not going to work. Appreciate the call, though, man. Thank you so much. Rick in Phoenix, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Rick? Rick, talk to me.
Stephen A., how are you today?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead. You're on the line.
Well, I have two questions for you. First of all, yesterday, I'm a lifelong Chicago sports fan since 1980. So yesterday, the Bears and Cowboys, is this a building block for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams? Or
One would imagine if the offense was flowing like that, at least against porous defenses, you should be able to see something like that. Listen, if you can get Caleb Williams going and being able to put up some points, the Chicago Bears, that offense of Dallas is pretty damn good. And to hold them to 14 points, even though CeeDee Lamb got hurt in the first quarter, it's still significant nevertheless. So I would tell you that's something that's a building block. That's a building block.
And my next question is, being a Chicago sports fan, I got to ask this because the NBA season is coming up. Michael Jordan, we know he's going to go to NBC. We know he always knows where the camera is. We know he knows the camera's always on him. He's very articulate. He's got a very dry sense of humor, which endeared him to us for 15 years. How good is he going to be on NBC? I just want your opinion.
First of all, Rick, you just made me laugh. You said he knows where the camera is, and Michael Jordan, his personality is what endeared us to him. Oh, stop it. What endeared you to him is that he's the greatest player you've ever seen in your damn life, that he was a superstar on another level. You understand that he was the Michael Jackson of sports, that he is the greatest basketball player, the GOAT of all time, was an ultimate closer, was a winner, was a 6-time champion, 6 NBA Finals MVPs, every trip to the NBA Finals, never a series going 7 games in the finals. That dude, a 9-time scoring champion, 10-time scoring champion. This is who you talk about, Michael Jordan. That's what endeared you to him, not the fact that he had a dry sense of humor. Let's get that out the way. Secondly, I'm telling y'all right now, Michael Jordan is going to do a great job. All he has to do is remember that and act like he's talking to Stephen A. Smith. That's it. That's all it's going to take for Michael Jordan to be great. All he has to do is remember how he talks to me without the curse words. Without the curse words, okay? That's all he has to do. And when he does that, he's going to be as real and as authentic as they come. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to do anything else because the man obviously knows basketball and he knows what it takes to win. And most importantly, he knows who has it and who doesn't, okay? Now, some people look at things and go, he's owning Charlotte, whatever. It's business decisions. And money that you're not willing to spend and all of that other kind of nonsense that infiltrated the proceedings, which is why he gave up ownership and gave that to somebody else. But I'm here to tell you, Michael Jordan, as a commentator, you just wait. He's going to surprise a lot of people. All he has to do is remember, just act like you're talking to Stephen A. Look, be quiet. Do what the hell. This is what's going on. That's the Michael Jordan I know. You understand? He shows up like that, he's just fine. He shows up trying to be too timid, too careful, he won't be. And I think he knows that. So I think he's going to do a great job, personally. I think he's going to be fantastic. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Your calls to close out the show in just a minute. Not just football, but I see a couple of callers on the line wanting to holler at me about a little baseball. I'll take those too. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
45 minutes past hour number 2, back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, reminding you that tonight, live on ESPN, courtesy of Monday Night Countdown, previewing Monday night encounter between the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions, Week 3, Monday Night Football, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Your boy, Stephen A. Live, my first Monday Night Countdown show. Looking forward to joining the fellas, whatever. They know football. I'm brilliant because I'm not. I know what I'm not brilliant at, and I listen to them and I steal from them. That's what I do. I learn from great ones, and I'm working with some great people. Just like I'm on the air with you guys now at 888 Mad Dog 6, 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. Back to the calls we go. Let's go to Andrew. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Andrew.
Stephen A., always a pleasure. I am a cautiously optimistic Packers fan. I knew with the Rasheed Walker BS, we can go undefeated. It was a trap game. Matt LaFleur with his not aggressive but conservative fourth quarters. I mean, Josh Jacobs 3 runs up the middle. Why don't you just punt the ball instead of just switching it up a little bit?
Well, listen. That's one way to look at it.
Worst 4 minutes of football at the end of the game I've ever seen.
But that helps. But here's what you're missing. If you got guys that are cocky and are looking a step ahead and thinking they're going to go undefeated, right, that could work against your advantage. You get your comeuppance against a team you were supposed to beat in Week 3, like Cleveland, with no offense whatsoever, and they take you down. Could you imagine what they're going to take out on Dallas next week? Could you imagine how they're going to look the rest of the way because they got smoked yesterday? You got to look at it from that standpoint. You can't dismiss that.
I mean, in the penalties and the special teams, they got to clean it up. Yeah, you got big weapons on defense, even on offense, but it's those little things that lose games, and it has driven me crazy for the last decade.
I understand, but you're going to have to live with it because it happens. And ain't no team going undefeated for an entire season. The New England Patriots did it years ago during the regular season, but the Miami Dolphins went through the playoffs and finished the deal in 1972, and no team has done that since. So everybody tastes a loss at some point in time. There is no way to get around that, and you're just going to have to live with that, my brother. That's just the way that it goes. Appreciate the call. Scott in San Fran, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. What's going on?
Stephen A., hey, good job today. So listen, I know that 90% of your listeners are probably right there in that area where you broadcast from. But you know what?
90%, that's not true.
A lot of time.
That's not true, sir.
Okay.
I got listeners all over the country.
Okay, but how come we spend so much time on those New York teams that are horrible? The Cowboys, who have been irrelevant. We got the Niners at 3-0. Everybody's hurt. Everybody gave up on Mac Jones in the NFL.
Didn't you? Are you going to sit up there and lie and act like you have faith in Mac Jones before this weekend? Is that what you're going to say with a straight face? Weren't you one of those people?
Absolutely not.
Stop it. You believe in Mac Jones? Mac Jones.
I believe in Shanahan. He's a quarterback whisperer. Look what he's done.
Really? Well, what happened last year? Oh, by the way, what happened in the Super Bowl when he was an offensive coordinator up 28-3? What happened when he had double-digit leads in the Super Bowl against Kansas City? Both times. What about that?
Okay, why don't we spend some more time on these West Coast teams that are west of the Rockies instead
first of all, why don't you get your own damn show and you decide what you want to touch on? Now, you're welcome to call up to my show and talk about what you want to talk about. I knew you wanted to talk about the 49ers. I brought you on. I talked about the Rams earlier. I talked about the Chargers earlier. I was the one that told you about the news about Nick Bosa before, okay? We talked about the Packers. We talked about the Lions. We talked about Chicago. We talked about Philadelphia. We talked about both New York teams. We talked about the Cowboys. We talked about everybody. So don't call up here telling me what the hell to talk about. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show. I decide what the hell we're going to talk about. But just for the record, be clear, I talked about all of those things. I didn't just talk about one team. I've been on the phone for 2 hours. I could have won a guest. I could have had a guest chew up 20 minutes. I've been here with the callers talking to y'all about their teams. And if they call me about their team, so be it. But don't call up here telling me what to talk about. I talk about what I want to talk about. Think about that before you call me back next time, or don't call back at all. It's your choice. It's your choice. It's a free country. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. Let's go to the phones again. Let's go to Bill. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Bill? Talk to me.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Stephen A.
Thank you so much. What's going on?
I got a baseball question. I'm a Cubs fan, longtime Cubs fan.
Okay.
And we got a budding superstar in Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yep.
But after the All-Star game, he hasn't been the same player. I mean, he got 29 homers, 87 RBIs, but he's got 90
RBIs. He's batting .245.
But he's struggling.
Yeah, it happens. You're calling me about that? I'm a Yankees fan.
I'm asking for an opinion.
I'm a Yankee. No problem. I got it. I'm saying I'm a Yankees fan, and I watch Aaron Judge look like an MVP every regular season, and then the postseason he comes and wets the bed, and I still scratch my head as to why that happens. It's baseball. It happens.
I used to be a Yankees fan. I was right there in L.A. with him in '77 and '78, so I'm there too. I was there, but due to circumstances, I'm always a Cub fan.
Bill. Here's what I would tell you.
Would you send him down?
Not now.
What?
Not now, no.
They've already clinched.
I'm not sending him down. I'm leaving him right where he is. The playoffs are about to begin. Figure it out. I'm not sending him down. That's number one. Number two, you do understand that if they found themselves in a position, which they won't, where they were in a tie with Milwaukee, they would get the tiebreaker. They've competed well against Milwaukee this year, who's been the best team in baseball. So I wouldn't dismiss the Cubs and their chances. I wouldn't dismiss it at all. Let's see what they do. But I'm not sending him down. Oh, absolutely not. That's a terrible idea, Bill. That's a terrible idea. Appreciate the call, though. Thank you so much. David, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, David. How are you?
Well, I think the guy with the Yankees and the Cubs thing is kind of crazy. You're either a Cubs fan or a Yankees fan, one or the other. But I want to talk about the Bears. The Bears, I was telling everybody, I live in Phoenix now, but I'm from Chicago. And all my friends and family was calling me up yesterday saying, we're not going to the game because the Bears are going to lose. I said, man, the Bears are going to win. I can show you my text messages. I told them, I said, the Bears are going to win. Let me tell you why. Because the Bears are going to win. They're going to beat Dallas at home because they need the morale. It's going to give them a morale boost. They're going to do very good this year.
Oh, will you stop it? Listen. I'm on a soap opera, damn it, but I don't want to hear that soap opera, drivel. The fact is the Bears won the football game because they were going up against a team that had a defense that sucks. That's why. That's why they lost. It wasn't because of emotion and adrenaline and, oh, my goodness, we want to do it for the Chicago faithful. That was the first home game they won in about 350 days. Okay, at Soldier Field. You think they wanted it to go that damn long? Of course they didn't. But it happens. Because you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Yes, they were good enough because they went up against a defense that's trash, which is the Dallas Cowboys. That's all that happens. It's just that simple. Appreciate the call. Dan in Canada, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Dan?
My man, I'm still laughing at that caller a couple calls ago saying that what you should be talking about. Like,
he don't know me. He don't know me very well. Right? Yeah. He don't call me telling me what to do on my own damn show. That ain't gonna happen. Go ahead.
Exactly. I always like to make sure that your fans, the new fans, know about your straight shooter book that still is infamous for me. Anybody that gets it, make sure you get the Audible version. It's amazing.
Appreciate it. Straight shooter. Memoir, Second Chances and First Takes. New York Times bestseller. Thank you, folks, so much.
There we
Appreciate
go.
that selfless plug. Selfish plug. Go ahead.
You just pick up my call every time. Listen, I really just wanted to make a comment. I called last week about my Raiders with the Chargers. It didn't work out for my Raiders, but this really shows the quality of coaching can have an impact. I know it's early. It's only 3 weeks in. But Herbert has not looked like this with any other coach.
I feel you. But last year he only threw 3 interceptions. Yeah. Is it coaching or is it Herbert versus Geno Smith? Like, what would Pete Carroll do with a Justin Herbert?
Right. Well, no, but I think just as a totality of the 3 games so far, you're seeing a different Herbert. And maybe it's, now we're in their second season with John Harbaugh, but it's just showing different, right? So I just wanted to make sure that we had that conversation.
Okay. I appreciate it, Dan. Thank you so much. That's a good point. I can't knock that. It's a good point. Let's go. Is this David in Miami? You're live with Stephen A. David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Stephen A.
Go ahead, man.
Listen to
Appreciate
it every day.
Thank you.
I don't want to
Go
talk
ahead.
football for a while. I want to talk about Tiger Woods. Here's my
What about Tiger Woods?
Okay. Do you think Tiger Woods can win any tournament, whether it's
No.
Augusta in April?
No.
No. So here's why I think he can, and then I want to hear your opinion as well.
Okay.
I think Tiger Woods. He's won many majors. I don't know what the number is. 15. He's got the mindset. He's got the memory. He's got all the shots. He's 49 years old. He'll get himself, even though he's been through all those injuries, which I know you're going to bring up. At the end of the day, that man could get himself back into shape to win a major. And here's why: because he's gonna. If you give him reps, he needs reps. You just can't walk up, show up at the first tee, and everyone thinks he's going to win. It ain't going to work like that. He needs reps, and he knows that better than me. He knows how to practice.
Dave, let me respond, okay? I don't agree with you. And the reason I don't agree with you because I believe that Tiger Woods walking that course for 4 days is too much. People don't realize it. You would imagine it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Anybody could walk 18 holes and stuff like that. No, it gets tiring. You know, it gets tiring. You can be distracted. The level of focus that it requires, sometimes it's more difficult as you age, as attrition kicks in. Walking that golf course is a lot different when you're in your 20s than when you're in your 40s. And I think that also, whether it's Scotty Scheffler or others, we see guys in golf right now that are just sensational. And because of that, that's a lot to ask for Tiger Woods to usurp them, which I don't believe he would do. I'm just sorry. I just feel that way. Cologne in New Jersey, you're the last caller. Real quick, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A. On the Jackson Dart, yes, I agree. They should start him now rather than later. Because if you don't start him this week and you wait for the Saints, it's an easier game, and he plays well, you do him no favors because 4 days later you got to play the Eagles on a Thursday night, and you're not going to get him ready. So for his development, start him now so it gives him more time to prepare, especially after a short week next week. Right?
Okay, I got you. Real quick. Go ahead. Real quick, Cologne.
Kansas City Chiefs, that play that Mahomes made, on the before the half, if the Giants score a touchdown there, maybe the game's different, it's a different game. So
right.
Patrick Mahomes might have saved their season. I got you. I appreciate the call, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show as much as I did. I'll be back tomorrow, but before then, I'm on Monday Night Countdown today on ESPN, previewing Monday Night Football, Baltimore, Detroit. I'm here in the house in Baltimore. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. Take care.